Nick Eason, y'all fire when ready.
Yes, sir.
Let's start with what we were just talking about, man. You came out, you participated in mat drills, you've lost 60 something pounds or somewhere close. What's behind all that for you?
Well, um, you know, first of all, I want to try to become the best version of myself. I'm always talking to my players about taking care of their bodies and doing what's right and living a lifestyle to be, about winning the day. And so I got to be the example as the position coach as well. So that's one perspective, and that comes down to that leadership, being an example. Next, my mom, was diagnosed with breast cancer at age 46 years old. My uncles, I don't think any of them lived past the age of 53, and so I'm 42 years old. And so as I began to think about that, I want to make sure I take care of myself, take care of my body. I saw the struggles that a lot of my family members have had over the years, who didn't have very good diets. I grew up in the South, and we eat everything on the hog except for the sound that it make, and everything is surrounded by food. When I go home, it's about let's go to church and then eat. Come over to my house, let's eat. Come Saturday at the park and let's eat. And so become just I've always loved food, but as time has progressed, I put on a lot of weight. Some of that was due to being an emotional eater. As I shared last week on my Twitter, I lost my grandmother and a good friend of mine, Al Troy Broderick, who was one of my teammates here, and that really took a toll upon me. And so I've always been an emotional eater, and so I just kind of ate my depression. And so I want to live a long time for my family, kids, and I just want to take care of myself. And so I took it upon myself and just changed my diet and get up every morning. I've been working out at Junkyard Fitness down at Bimbo, where and those trainers do a really good job. So I'll be getting up and being there at 5:15 a.m. in the mornings and getting prepared. The whole mat drill thing was a spur of the moment thing that I just I woke up one morning and said, you know what, I'm gonna do mat drills today. So I went in and got with our head of our equipment manager and gave me a pair of cleats, and I took the paper out of them and just jumped out there and did it. Took my hat off, took my whistle off, and just wanted to kind of challenge myself and get in there, not knowing what was going to happen. I just go. And so sometimes, it's all about a mindset, just go, So that's what I do. I just try to show up, every day and just go, man, do my job, work hard.
You talked about, I think, when you first got here, try to go vegan, I guess.
Yes. Yeah, I stuck with it. I haven't had meat or dairy since September the 12th last year. I really have done a good job of just being disciplined. Chef Manny here at our facility has done a really good job, and there are a couple, vegan restaurants that I frequent. One of them being the, Herbal Pharmacy and the Naked Vegan in Greenville. And so, I have my meals prepared every day, so it's been really easy for me to stick with. But the biggest thing for me, I always encourage people, man, to just read up on what you're doing. Educate yourself about whatever, diet or meal plan that you're planning on going on, and then you can figure out the reasons why you're doing it and why you shouldn't eat certain things. For some people, like yourself, I'm not, I can become a big guy. I came here at Clemson at 215 pounds and left at 295 pounds, so I can put it on. I can also lose it as well. So, I just want to be a better version of myself. Being a great example, and I want to live some good years when I get older. Like I mentioned earlier, man, I've seen a lot of my family members be on dialysis, and I've seen what it did to my grandparents. I've seen it to other relatives that I watch, and eventually, it's not a good ending. And so, just trying to just be a better version of myself, and so that I can coach harder. On the field every day, and demand greatness from my players. So I got to be great.
How do you evaluate the last season as a whole with defensive line, defense in general? There was so much expected, of course. Y'all being a dominant group, and it feels like it was less than that. And how do you look back at
at the end of the day, man, I love my guys. They come to work every day. and a lot of guys, you know, play banged up, you know, playing with broken, you know, hands and, you know, strained legs, ligaments, torn shoulder. Peyton Page played all season with a torn shoulder. Roop played through a lot of injuries, and those things, you know, may go unnoticed, but people don't know. So when our guys just come to work, they show up every day. And so it starts with me. I just think I got to do a better job of make sure I'm putting our guys in the position to make plays. Do a better job of really stressing the technique and fundamentals. And so this year was about personal development for me as a coach. In order to get my players better, I got to get better. And so, you know, I met with some, you know, coaches from the NFL, got on some Zooms and talked technique and fundamentals, philosophy, circuits, and really evaluate what I'm doing. You know, maybe something that I truly believe in, maybe there's a better way to teach it. And so, you know, at the end of the day, I got to demand, you know, greatness from my players, you know, every day, you know, in every way possible. But it starts with me, and then it trickles down to my players. And so that's why I got to be the best version of myself, and so I can demand them being the better version of themselves. And so, you know, we left a lot of plays on the table, you know, left a lot of sacks on the table. And so this year, man, we got to do the little things, and so we don't leave those plays on the field. And we got to make the plays. And so there was a lot of missed opportunities last year. But it was a really good year. There's a lot of good things that we did last year. We were top 5, you know, in terms of sacks in the country. And we created a lot of pressure. Guys played hard, man. They played through some adversity. You look at Brian Brzee, the things that he went through last year, and even made a 3.0, you know, the highest GPA he's ever had since he's been here. And just fighting through the adversity, you know, had some issues, you know, going on with his body where he missed some games. And, I mean, it goes on and on and on. Tyler Davis, you know, as well, played through injuries. Trey Williams played through some injuries. DeMonte Capehart played through some injuries. And they just showed up every day. And so I'm really proud of them for what they did last year. And so, you know, when you're at a place like Clemson, you know, we have high expectations and high demands. And so, you know, I got to do a better job as a coach to get my guys better. And so that we can be great this year and moving forward. So.
You guys, when Tyler and Roop say they're coming back, were you at all surprised by that? And did you have a role in conversing with them?
Well, you know, I may have played somewhat of a small role in that, but I was definitely shocked, especially by Tyler. I may have anticipated, you know, Rook or Brzee maybe coming back just with the injuries, but Tyler was definitely a shocker. I know Rook was kind of straddling the fence as well about what he wanted to do. You know, I knew those guys, you know, had some legitimate draft grades that they could have left this year and made some money. And for them to come back was a huge deal, you know, for our defensive line. And I mean, you know, they came back because they want to win a championship. They want to get better, and felt like they left some things on the table. And then obviously it increased their draft stock as well. And so, you know, I take it upon myself, you know, for me to make sure that happens. And so, just gonna try to, you know, not only for them to get them better, but to get the entire defensive line better. And it makes it better for all of us, you know, up front.
And looking at the numbers, you've got Tyler and Rook and Peyton and DeMonte Capehart. You got all the kids that are coming in, and Trey Williams.
Yep.
The best defensive tackles group in the country. Can you imagine that there would be anybody else that would have that kind of quality depth?
No. I mean, I'm truly blessed to have the depth that we have. And with all those guys coming back, and then with the young guys we've added with Victor, Stefalin, and Peter Woods, I mean, you know, we have the best personnel, definitely one of the top personnel in the country for sure, in terms of depth of defensive tackle, which is why we were able to sustain and have some success last year, just because we did experience guys were out, in and out of the lineups. We had a lot of guys that were hurt. But we always had guys that were able to step up, and so which is huge for us. And so, anytime you got quality depth, man, you have an opportunity to go all the way. And all the teams that make it all the way to the big show have quality depth. And so we definitely have the personnel to take it to the big show. Just got to show up, and it starts now in the spring. That's where we got to get better. And I am truly blessed. You know, you look around the country, a lot of rooms don't look like mine. You know, and so you got your first. You got your first string guys, and then kind of second, and it kind of falls off after that. But not here. All these guys are capable of being starters.
What have you seen out of Peter and Vic and Stefano?
Man, I'll say guys are, first of all, they're all good human beings, man, good people, come from good families, great character guys. Man, they've been, handling their business off the field, and they show up every day ready to work and ready to learn. In terms of talent level, off the charts, all three of them. And they've showed up this week. I've seen a lot, and some of it been surprising, but they're very well developed. You can tell they've been very well coached at their particular high schools. Their high school coaches and their head coaches and position coaches did a really good job with them, so I commend them for that. I reached out to their position coaches at Thompson, at Warner Robins, and at Rome, and they've done a really, really good job of coaching those guys, and so they're really ahead of the curve in terms of technique and fundamentals. But there's always things to improve. As we get more and more into our install, the head starts spinning a little bit, start thinking a little too much, but that's part of it, being a young guy. But they're going to make us really, make us a lot better. I mean, when you can bring in talent, man, it squeezes everybody to get better. And so, man, they've been, truly just a huge addition for our defensive line, bringing those young guys in here, and they're just going to make us everybody better. So just excited to see, to watch them to continue to develop, and got a great plan, to develop their skills and make them become the best version of themselves, and so they can have an opportunity to, play this year for us.
Does Peter remind you of anybody you've been around or seen?
Oh, yeah. I'll tell you this. Peter Woods has the twitchiness and the power and the quickness of some dominant NFL linemen, defensive linemen that I've been around. I'm not going to crown him the best ever or the best of this or nothing because, the proof's in the pudding. Obviously he's got to play this year. But I will say that he has the talent level to obviously be an All-American, one of the best that's ever came through Clemson. In that list of great defensive linemen, the Michael Dean Perrys and the Trevor Prices and the, Grady Jarrett's and Dexter Lawrence, and all the list goes on and on. And when you think about great defensive linemen at defensive tackles at Clemson, he has the tools to become that. Is he there yet? No. But does he have the tools to become a great defensive lineman and one of the best that's ever come through here? Absolutely. But there's a lot of work to be put in. But I can tell you this, that he's very focused, and that's what he wants to do. So that's kind of how I see him.
Would you hesitate to move him outside in certain situations?
I just think with the personnel that we have right now, man, we're just going to try to put the best combination of guys on the field. We have a lot of depth across the board. And so as we continue to evaluate the defensive line position, both at defensive end and defensive tackle, we just want to put the best combination of guys on the field. Does Peter have the tools to play outside? Absolutely. He can play across the line of scrimmage. So can Stefano Green, and so can multiple of our guys, Rook and Tyler. They all can do it. And so when you got guys that have position flexibility, man, you can be able to disguise and do a lot of different things across the front. And so that's what you want.
Talk about being really surprised about Tyler coming back. So
Yep.
what can he improve on? I mean, how do you get him to another level? What are the skills or things that you can improve in him?
Yeah, just eyes, hands, and footwork. And then the ability to just be able to win the one-on-ones and his pass rush. The one unique thing about him, there's no surprise why he's an All-American, because he outworks everybody. And so he that's how he's gotten the name that he's gotten and the respect that he's gotten, the reputation that he has, because he outworks everybody every single day, in individual, in team periods, et cetera. And so the biggest thing you just got to work on just technique and fundamentals of the game, and and just really understanding the game and what to expect and when to expect it, situational football. And so we've talked about those things, as I've talked about it with, all of our defensive linemen, just ways to get better as we evaluated each guy up front. And, but just meeting with him, and just got to get better, just using the hands, eyes, and feet, and just having the ability to be able to win the one-on-one pass rush. And so I thought he did. You had, one of his best seasons last year, and just got to increase. I love it, for me to get him better, and that's what I wanted to do. I inherited a room that was, somebody else's room, and so, but at the end of the day, it was my job when I took this job to get everybody in the room better, and that's what I did. And so, and that's my goal, man. I just want everybody to obviously get an education, become a better version of themselves, and equip them with the tools to make it to the next level. Because everybody wants to play in the NFL. But the first thing I say is make sure you get the education. So I challenge those guys to do that. But, Tyler definitely has an opportunity to do something special this year and have a really, really great year and be one of the top defensive tackles, of all time that's played here at Clemson, as well as, coming up next year for next year's draft. So, but right now, man, I think he's just focused on being the best version of himself in the spring and so that he can be ready to go chase the national championship this year, as we all are.
Roots in a yellow jersey or thin and yellow.
Yep.
What can he actually do, and what can he actually work on this spring to kind of improve?
I mean, Rook has been somebody that's always done a really good job of coming in and spending a lot of extra time watching tape. That's what he does. That's something he was doing when I got here. And that's one of the things that I was really impressed with him about. Is he had, NFL qualities, already, something that I didn't have to ask him to do. So I just think he's been very locked in from a mental standpoint, even though he's not, being able to practice much. But he's doing a good job coming in and help coaching up some of the young guys. He's been out there with the guys after practice, kind of going through drills. But he's being locked in, taking really good notes, and just making sure you understand the defense. There's some new things that we're doing. And he's another guy that could play multiple positions, but he's definitely one of the alpha dogs in my room. And so it's good to have him around. He's been locked in. He's been at every practice. He's out at practicing the individual. He's in all the meetings, and so he's here. But right now it's going to be all mental for him. And so I've gotten a sense that he's been locked in.
Peyton, who is back there watching us last year, talking about depth. There were times when big opportunities, and they were Wake Forest. He's in there in different games where he's getting big time snaps at the end of ball games. How much does that help him? And then what does he kind of need to do, this spring and over the summer to kind of make that next jump?
Man, I mean, Peyton, it jumps out, man. He's big, he can move, he has all the tools. For a big guy, man, he can move. He's twitchy, and he's strong at the point of attack. And like I said, nobody knew that, he was playing with a beat-up shoulder the whole season. And, sometimes you can see that on tape, but, he's going to be better than what he was last year. He's a guy that was, 390 pounds and lost a lot of weight. And so he's been really, focused in and locked in on his diet, and he's done a really good job of keeping his weight down, came back in shape this offseason, doing a good job of that right now as he's getting a lot going through the mental reps. But it was really good for him to get in there last year and get the opportunity that he had to be able to play in the games, and he'll have more of a role this year. And so just kind of, some of the things we're doing. So really excited to see what he's going to do. He's definitely got the attention of a lot of people on the next level because they like his, height, size, weight. And so he has all the tools to be a dominant, nose tackle, one of the best in the country. And so just got to stay locked in and continue to know the game and get better at his technique and fundamentals and understand who he is. And he's a big man that can play the run really well. He has the tools to rush the passer as well. And so, I think he's going to have a really big year. He's going to come back. He's going to be in better shape. It's going to be healthy. And so truly excited to see what he's going to do.
You said there were a bunch of oatmeal pies that were mailed to you.
Yeah.
At the football facility.
Yeah.
What did you actually do with all of them?
The 600 pies, oatmeal pies, man, they tell you the power of social media. You make jokes about little Debbie's, and next thing you got 600 oatmeal pies delivered to the facility. But I think I ate 2 of them, then I passed the rest of them out to around the facility. So there was oatmeal pies floating around here for about, 72 hours around the facility. But, I've let it go, so not worth it. But my all-time favorite is actually zebra cakes, So, but yeah, man, I don't miss it a bit. It's just when I'm in there at 5:15 at Junkyard, man, I'm feeling like I'm about to pass out, man. And if I see a snack, which I ran into a couple snacks today, surprisingly, I went to. We had a little cookout. Robert Caldwell had a little, an appreciation for our grounds crew. I go over there. There's fried fish, and there's hush puppies, there's French fries, and there's Little Debbie. And so, man, just gotta, temptation. It's not worth it for me anymore, And so, but I do miss it from time to time.
Going to naturals, have you done anything close intensity-wise working out?
Absolutely not. I've been just kind of doing, just some cardio for 30 minutes and a little light lift at lunch, but nothing in terms of HIIT training, nothing of that magnitude. Man, I haven't done mat drills. I think I came back years ago when I was with the Steelers and worked out, did mat drills with the team. So this has, been about, 15 years ago, probably. But yeah, that was pretty intense workout. So I really took a chance, but I wasn't going to quit, and so I was either going to pass out or die, and the Lord is in charge of that part of it. So, man, I just went and go and see what's going to happen. But I know I couldn't quit. That couldn't happen. So, just I knew the guys had the little side bets. We're going to say he ain't going to make it and this, that, and the third. But man, it's really about having the right mindset. I've lost about 62 pounds as of this morning, and got 34 more pounds to go, just in terms of going for 100 pounds. And then even at that point, I was up to 392 pounds last September, and heaviest I've ever been in my life. And a lot of people didn't know that, but I was there, and was almost headed towards that pre-diabetic stage. It just really wasn't worth it for me, and I was like, oh no, this can't happen. I'm just a walking, ticking bomb. I got here at Clemson, I was 215 pounds, and now I'm literally, close to almost 400 pounds. And that's not okay. Not for me. Not if I want to live a long life. I remember I was talking to our outside linebackers coach when I was playing for the Steelers. We had practice one day, and he said, "Hey Nick, do you know of any 300-pound, 80-year-old men?" And I said, "Not really." He said, "Yeah, because they're all dead." And he said, "So when you get done playing this game, make sure you lose some weight." And so, man, I've really been on a little bit of a yo-yo, but I think I've gotten under control. And it's just really it's really a mindset. That's where it starts at. You got to be disciplined in your mind. In terms of just trying to, whatever it is that you want to do in life, it has to start in the mind, the vision, a goal, and you got to do everything that it takes to accomplish that. So.
What's your favorite vegan meal?
Favorite vegan meal for me, any type of bowl. I love, whole grain rice and just adding some mushrooms, red peppers, maybe some tahini sauce on top of it. In terms of, some of the meals I love, obviously you can't go wrong with a black bean burger. With some, homemade French fries, cut out of potatoes and put them in the air fryer. So that's kind of like my little go-to as of right now.
What was your players' reaction when you came out from mat drills?
Shocked, surprised, like, oh, you really fit to go through mat drills, little did they know, when I was at my previous employer, I actually worked out with the guys. I did decks. I was in really good shape then, too. When COVID had started, I actually started with the, whole plant-based, meal planning and things. So when COVID started, I actually lost 87 pounds, during the middle of COVID. And so when I got to, I was at Auburn previously, man, I worked out with my guys. I ran the stadium decks. And so it was just really just for me, they hadn't seen me that. I talked to them about it when I was guys, hey guys, I'm gonna get the cleats on. But at that point in time, man, by the time I got here, I'd already put a lot of weight back on and wasn't in shape to do that. And so, man, I got my weight down, and they were shocked, and they were placing side bets. I saw Peter that they showed him. I don't see him getting past station number 2. They had no kind of confidence and faith in me, but they were really shocked. But man, it was very eye-opening for me to understand the 42-year-old version of myself is definitely different from the 22-year-old version of myself. And I found that out very quickly after just going through the warm-ups, And I was like, oh my goodness, in my mind. But I was like, I'm not going to quit. I'm going to make this. So it just became a battlefield of the mind. And so once my mind was made up, my body followed. Yes, sir. No problem.